So, are we all ready?
Yes.
Let's go. All right, so a little fun fact. Did you know in this world there are 7,139 official languages?
Wow.
And the English language, as we know today, we rank top 3. Or from last year, we are now the most common language in the world, officially. So, challenge. All right, for Blinn students only, I want one of you, or all of you, to correctly pronounce these words without stuttering once. Starting from Daniel. Job. Ian. Kara. Joy. Noah. Well, nice try, everyone. Yeah? No, Sarah. All right, you all tried your best. So let's do another challenge. All right, now for challenge 2, so there are 5 words. Find which one is not the synonym or the word related to the others. Take a wild guess and raise your hand, please. Wow, she got it. All right, so I did a scale on you students. From 1 to 10, how would you rate your English? From a poor 1 to a very pleased 10.
11.
All right, 1 by 1, please, from Joy.
0.5.
Let's say over 2.
Ian.
0.3.
Daniel. Well, I think we've seen some better scores out there. All right. I mean, come on, a little more self-appreciation. Thank you.
11.
Or there you go. All right, so let's move on, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so out of those 2 challenges, which of these 4 did you find the most hard?
Speaking. Pacing. Speaking.
All right, so I'm getting confused right now, so let's do my hands. Raise your hand for listening. For pacing. Vocabulary. Oh, grammar. So, thanks for the responses, and I know there's that one question that has been in your mind by the time you got here. You probably ask yourself this question: why do you learn English, and why do you speak it?
To share gospel. For nations.
Well, here's what I came up with. Thank you, Noah. All right. So I decided to split up into 3 categories. Well, obviously the answer is there. It helps us grow. Not just grow as individuals, but as into 3 types. Students. By learning English, we not only just to interact with Americans and our classmates, but also having a good English level in general can help you in your future career, whether it be like a scientist or an engineer, maybe a nurse, or if you could, a translator. And next, it also grows as missionaries. Obviously, we live in a community where we are built to be missionaries. We train here, we study here, we sometimes have fun here. But also, we shouldn't forget that just because we have our college life, we should not be blinded by our mission, which is to reach out to the people in this country, in this state, And we can only do that by being fluent in that language and really reaching out to them by having a genuine conversation. And lastly, I had a hard time trying to bring up another one, but last minute came into my mind and I thought of disciples. And what I mean by that is that obviously every day we meet our classmates, new people, or when we evangelize, or sometimes go to an event at a church worship or a party event ceremony. Whatever the case is, we're going to meet new people and we're going to see new faces every day, 24/7. Through every year and every decade humanity has lived in. And as we meet these new people, and sometimes we live in this community with a bunch of new people-ish, and eventually in the future we will have more students coming here, it is not only our duty to help each other right now grow and encourage each other, but also help to the new people. Obviously, as I mentioned for the second time now, we will have new people coming here eventually by the end of this year, the end of next year. Who knows how long it will go? The summer, there we go. So it's not only our duty to help ourselves now, but also help them and the later students that will come eventually, and so on. And I know Teacher Juliet told me to come up with a little Bible verse, and luckily, I have two. Kara, that's so 2016 of you. All right, so I digress. Let's continue. So what I found was from Proverbs 15:32, and if you could mind with me, let's try to read together. So in 3, 2, 1. Those who ignore instruction despise themselves, but the one who listens to reproof gains intelligence. And so I'm going to stop and try to explain a little bit about this verse. You know, sometimes when we hear correction or I guess a little rebuking from the missionaries, from our professors, or even one of our coworkers as we live together, it's not always easy trying to hear the criticism and the nagging or the chansori, if you call it. But sometimes if we genuinely open ourselves to these criticisms and genuinely take in the correction and the advice, then not only do we correct ourselves and improve from there, but also we learn how to prevent from making that same fault or flaw. So the next time you hear someone, whether it be your college professor, your missionary Moses, or Teacher Juliet, or even one of us here, instead of trying to take it as, oh, this person just nagged me, I'm so sad, I think we should really take it as, oh, I did wrong. And because I did wrong, I'm going to improve. And because we do that, it's not just, oh, we did the wrong. By doing that wrong, we really grow and move on from it. And that's how you gain intelligence. And so enough yapping there. So the next one, shall we? All right, so pretty long. Wait. Yeah.
It's so long that it froze.
Can you just disconnect the...
The words that listen are so powerful.
Could not connect to LG Web. All right, so a little technical difficulties, but let's just hope the TV gets back on. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Joy. All right, so aside with that, let's get back on the focus, shall we?
Yes.
All right, so a little technical mishap, but hopefully it won't happen next time. So aside from that, let us read once again. So just try to take your pace, watch your English skills, and let's do one more time. All right, a little bit long, but I believe in y'all. So let's start. 3, 2, 1. So it is with you. Unless you speak intelligible words with your tongue, how will anyone know what you are saying? You will be speaking into the air. Undoubtedly, there are all sorts of languages in the world, yet none of them is without meaning. If them do not grasp the meaning of what someone is saying, I am a foreigner to the speaker, and the speaker is a foreigner to me. So before I eventually close off, I'm going to explain once more of what I thought about reading this portion. Obviously, in order to speak to a Korean, you have to know at least somewhat of a decent level of Korean, right? So let's say Isaiah, no offense to you, I love you, bruh. So let's say Isaiah is trying to talk to Harmony, hypothetical situation.
That's literally what I was just thinking about as we were reading this.
Oh, so let's say Isaiah is talking with teacher Juliet's mother. Obviously, Isaiah knows at least 0.001 Korean. And teacher Juliet's mother, well, she is from Korea, so obviously that's literally her only tongue. And so if Isaiah tries to have a one-on-one conversation with her, how do you think will it go?
Impossible.
Well, thank you. Well, it's rhetorical, right? You already know the answer. And as I was thinking about a situation like that, and this verse, if we don't learn a language or at least try to have an understanding of something, putting it now into an out of context, aside from the language part, if we don't understand a certain something, whether it be like learning a language, learning the context of a lesson, or sometimes trying to understand our faith and life here in this community, or even something simple like trying to read the Bible, if we don't understand what's going on and the context or get to the core of it, then as this portion of the verse here says, we are only a foreigner. And as we speak to that foreigner, the foreigner sees us as a foreigner. So in other words, we are seen as a speaker, but yet when we try to speak and don't understand literally this amount, 0, zilch, nothing, then the verse says, we are a foreigner, and the speaker is a foreigner to that foreigner. And so, a little conclusion that I came up with. I know English for you is not really easy and really tough, especially for you blend students trying to survive an income or having a little shenanigan with your professor or even taking an exam and not doing so well at times. And I understand that 100%, and also my pronunciation, I know I'm a New Yorker, I'm born from New York, so fast New York accent, blah, 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 blah. I know people told me that before, back in NJ, my own parents, even some of the pastors here, the missionaries. They tell me about it all day. Oh, you gotta slow down with your speaking. Like, look, I get it. I'm born from New York, and I'm a New Yorker. I'm a proud New Yorker, but I know, just like you guys, you're trying to work on your English level and get better with your pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, whatever the case is. I'm also doing the same with my pronunciation and I guess a little more confidence and enthusiasm with my mood and tone every day. But aside from that, I think for you guys, you probably fought with hell, or I should say, you probably fought with everything to come here. The painful visa, the money, the interview, or especially for you two that came into NJ first, and for you four, it was painful. I assume it was painful to get the visa, the interview, and the money, the ticket, trying to get all that in just to be here. And I think as you guys continue to live here, and I know some of you or two of you are already familiar with this country, so as we continue life here, I think we should really, or you guys should really take this as an opportunity and be thankful, because what would happen if you did not come here? What would happen if that interview got denied? What if you did not have that money? What if you did not have that ticket to even be here? Or what if some situation just said no and you could not go? What would happen? Just, you don't have to answer, but just try to think it in your mind. If something got in the way, then where would you be right now? And obviously, there have been a handful of students who sadly had that situation. Either their visa got expired, they had their ticket denied, or they couldn't pay for it, they didn't have enough money to live here, or some other circumstance, whatever it is. There are students out there like that. So not only should you take this place as an opportunity, but you should take it and really be grateful for it. Because for you guys, this might be a one-in-time opportunity. I mean, who knows how long you'll stay here? Maybe forever, or maybe not. Who knows? But aside from that, I think it is worth the trouble learning and getting better with your English. And if it means our careers and our faith, this mission, and this whole community, then so be it. It is worth it. And also, one last note before I close off, practicing is learning. So who here, raise your hand if you know of the term trial and error, or do you know what it means? Trial and error. So I guess
Trial.
and error. So who here has heard of the term or the phrase? So obviously we know what it means. It's like practice, but we make mistakes. But through all that, we eventually become successful. And how I see it, the practice of English and living in this community in general, it's like trial and error. No error, no trial. And obviously, as we have our yet another boatload of work tomorrow and Wednesday, and so on with the week, with the month, rest of the year, and next year, we're going to have more work, and we might be really tired. We might feel like it's literal hell, and we might want to give up and go home. But aside from that, I will tell you what. If there's a trial, but you have no errors, then that is no trial at all. You might as well just not do it at all. If there's no struggle in progress, if there's no mistake in your attempts, then there's no point at all. So as I finally close off right now, and I've yapped long enough, I'm going to encourage you one more time that learning is practice, and it's worth it. Whatever trouble we may face tomorrow or circumstance that hits us all of a sudden, all you got to do is go on with the trial, put your head down, and put your faith in your heart, and just keep on going with the journey. Because who knows where our future will lead us to. And only God knows that. So, yeah, that's the end of the message. I've talked long enough, and I hope you learned a lot from this. So, yeah, thank you.